Over the past few years, I regularly look like this after consuming a meal. Now, you may say that this is because of IBS, more processed food, etc. Either way, it was becoming more frequent, and I didn't like it.
You can see like the overhang.
I wanted to make a change. I want to share with you my top tips for losing fat and gaining muscle during a body recomposition. But Jade, you seem to be already quite fit. Why did you feel you needed to do this? I didn't need to, but I wanted to, as I was curious to see how being a few kilos lighter and gaining a better muscle to fat ratio affected my performance in my bodyweight calisthenics training, how it would make me feel, and if I'd look any different. In 8 weeks, I lost a total of 3 kilograms, and although I have yet to do my DEXA scan, which would tell me the exact numbers, I can see from my calisthenics training that I've definitely got stronger. Here's what I did. Instead of just eating a little bit less to ensure that I lost some body weight, I wanted to ensure that what I was losing was not muscle. I needed to ensure that I could maintain the muscle I already had and even grow more during this period of time. And therefore I decided to not just go on a diet, but a whole
Body recomposition to give you that toned look. Remember, people always talk about toned, but what they really mean by toned is how do you get lean enough so that when you put on a bit of muscle, you get more shape to your figure, which is basically body recomposition. And it's often a little bit challenging because you'll have to eat in a calorie deficit to shed your excess fat and also be working out in the gym to ensure you're putting on muscle. So you also have to eat enough protein, but in a calorie deficit. If you followed me for a while now, you know that I never need any motivation to go to the gym. My weakness has always been food. And to eat in a calorie deficit, I think, has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So you can check out all what I eat videos here.
if you're interested in seeing the large quantities of food I normally consume.
For me, a calorie deficit is eating around 2,500 to 2,800, so just below 3,000 calories.
4 times a week on my training days, and the other 3 days it was so hard at the beginning. But on these days, they were officially my rest days. So the average woman eats around 2,000 calories. And if I wasn't training, I am the average woman.
It's always been about portion control more for me. But I would say one of the greatest things you can do is journal out what you eat and genuinely check your macros to check how much protein you're eating. Protein, 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 protein. It's like the buzzword in any fitness video. But the thing is, it's because it's crucial in a body recomposition to be able to
feel satiated and not as hungry when you're attempting to eat a little bit less than you're used to.
Protein makes us feel fuller for longer, but it also helps in the reparation and genesis of new muscle. So it's essential in a body recomposition because it's helping us with both parts, with that losing fat and increase in muscle gain. The standard definition for how much protein you should consume is 0.8 to 1 gram for every kilogram of your body weight. However, if you are training, you want to ensure that this is almost double. So I'm eating, I'd say, when I've checked my macros, about double that per kilogram of my body weight.
I also made sure I was eating a diet high in fibre to ensure the food was passing through my digestive system slower and ensuring that I stayed fuller for longer. Food high in fibre includes processed food like bran flakes. I love them, so I had to eat them, but also lots of vegetables, especially dark leafy greens, brown rice, brown bread, and of course pulses like lentils.
I find what's best to do is to stick to regular brands and regular food that you enjoy. Obviously, I have a vast array of things I would eat, but I normally stick to regular brands, and I also try and eat as natural foods as I can. So things like vegetables, fruits, meats, fish, things that I try and eat things that are whole foods, that don't have many different ingredients or things I don't understand at the back of the packet. I try and minimize my ultra processed foods. I do love crisps, chips in the US. I am very partial to binging on 2 whole family-sized bags of crisps. I absolutely adore them, and they're probably my biggest weakness in terms of ultra-processed foods. I try and avoid ultra-processed foods because a lot of them have been manufactured by the food industries
with the incentive to make you consume more, even if this means adding unnecessary chemicals or stripping the nutrients from a product, leaving you less full and therefore making it even more difficult to not overeat.
People have based their whole careers to make these ultra-processed foods as palatable, as delicious, as moreish as they can be. So I just personally enjoy cooking my own food. I know that's a privilege. A lot of people don't have the facilities in their home to be able to cook all the foods they can, and I'm very lucky I can do that, and I'm aware of that. But that has greatly helped in my body recomposition. I've been training calisthenics now for quite a few years, but recently I decided to up my game and go to the gym one extra day a week. So I'm currently going to the gym and doing a 60 to 90 minute workout, including my warm-up, 4 times a week. And a couple of months ago, that was 3 times a week. I was injured as well, so I wasn't training as much. I found that's greatly helps to keep me into routine. I already know, okay, in the week I'm going to be going 4 times a week. I am flexible with this. Sometimes I do a workout at home. You've seen my setup. I do have a pull-up bar, a bike. I'm not going to show, or I'll show you. My bike, and I've also got my little yoga mats over here. So I'm lucky enough to have that in my own house as well. And so I don't always need to go to the gym. I have collected these pieces over the years, just gathering more and more, even though I actually started calisthenics because it was minimal equipment. So I was like, this is great for the lazy girl. And now I absolutely adore it. Understanding your why. We see a lot of information and new work coming out about the longevity of exercise. That seems to be the new trend. You know, imagining what you'll be like when you're 85. Peter Attia's book has had a massive influence with conjuring thoughts of all of us in the centenarian race, and that race to get to 100 where we're still as mobile as we are now. So for me, I have many whys. As a calisthenics athlete, a lot of what I do is for the acquisition of new skills. I think the skills in calisthenics are beautiful. Calisthenics itself in Greek means beautiful strength. And so for me, being slightly lighter, having a body recomposition is not only nice for the secondary effects, the aesthetic reasons, but it's also great in terms of my acquisition of skill, because as I get stronger, I can do more things, but also as I'm lighter, because calisthenics is functional and relies on my body weight, I can do that extra rep in pull-ups. I can feel like I'm a little bit stronger just because I'm lifting up a slightly less of my body weight. Is it because you want to be more mobile and be able to take your kids to play in the park? Is it because you're thinking about yourself in 50 years' time and you don't want to be that person being taken care of in the care home? Is it because you want to acquire a new skill, like I do? Do you want to get your first push-up? Do you want to get your first muscle up? Do you want to be able to do a front lever? Obviously, that's very calisthenics central. There are a lot of reasons for your why. Is it because you want to keep up with your partner or your best friend that goes on a run? Or run away from the police? Do you want to be able to run your first marathon? Finding out your why and keeping that at the front of your brain whenever it's getting hard is essential. I have tried to have a body recomposition many times, and many thoughts have inundated my head. I was never overweight or with excessive weight to start with, so the motivation to lose a few kilograms so I could get better at my sport wasn't really strong enough for me to put all the effort in being in a calorie deficit, working out an extra day a week, because if I'm really honest with you, I didn't really want it. My heart wasn't really in it, because I would look at previous pictures of myself, as you can see, and yes, maybe I could have toned up a little bit, but the sacrifice of what I'd have to go through just to lose 2 kilograms wasn't enough of an incentive for me. So that's why it's really important to find your why and make sure you really ask yourself, is this really why? So is it simply, I want to look good? Is the sacrifice of eating a little bit less and going and working out a little bit more, does that weigh enough for you to just lose a few pounds? You know, what is your why? And really think about that. Be like a little kid that gets really annoying. Why is the sky blue? But why? But why? And keep going into your route until eventually you find out the real reason. If you see my channel, you know that whatever fitness challenge I set myself, I make sure I achieve, or I'm on the road to achieving that. But in terms of anything to do with my diet, and especially modifying how I look by having a body recomposition, is extremely difficult for me, because I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. And so whenever I'd have a day where I'd eat a little bit more, I was like, do you know what? I threw everything out. I threw the baby out with the bathwater. I just ate everything I could, because I was like, it's one day. It's one day, I'm enjoying myself, whatever. Because come on, I'm used to eating basically 4,000 calories a day, and I've done that for all these years while I've been training and all those kind of things. So yeah, it was always very difficult once I jumped off the bandwagon to get back on again. It was just, I just would spiral. I was like, well, I've already eaten like this yesterday, might as well today. And I just kept going, and this would go on for a few months until I decided enough was enough. And then again, the curiosity of, oh, but if I lost a few kilograms, then maybe I could get better at my skills. And so this would be like this vicious cycle. This is not a diet, this is a lifestyle choice. I want this to be a habit. I want to care about myself enough that I put the effort to actually care about myself. So far, going to the gym, doing all of my running and all of my sports are fantastic, but the motive was never to care about myself. The motive was because I just really enjoy it, so I'm gonna do it. I didn't think, oh, I wanna do this because I wanna lose weight. Not only is it great to have your why, but it's also great to have a goal in mind. So for me, I want to do my DEXA scan again. It's coming up to 3 years since I had my last DEXA scan. You can check the video out here. And yeah, I would like to redo it and see how much more muscle I've put on and how much more fat I've lost, if any, because I was in a pretty good shape in that video, which you can check out. So you may be getting married, you may be going to a huge family event or a party, and so you have a date in mind as to an end goal. But even when I've toned up, I still like wearing my baggy clothes. that elastic waistline. And that's it. If you like this video, you may be interested in this video next, and I'll catch you later. Okay, ciao.